Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Pink Power Live. I am Kara Flippin, Senior Ruby Ambassador.
And I am Nikki Westerfield, Ruby Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and we are so super excited tonight. We have Kristy Hull on the call with us. She's a Diamond Ambassador, and she's super successful. One of the things I love about following Kristy since I've been with Plexus is not only is she an amazing ambassador, but she's just super, super sweet, super genuine, and I just love following you. So we're just so excited to have her on the call and get some tips from her. I will go ahead and share your story.
Okay, so like she said, my name's Kristy Hull. I'm a Diamond Ambassador. I am coming up on my tree with Plexus, and that makes me feel like so old in the business because it really just seems like yesterday that I finally decided to go for this for $34.95. So my official sign-on date was November 11th of 2013. And so that was actually about 4 months after a girl had approached me about the business via a cold message. And of course, I put her off for about 4 months because, it just wasn't the right timing. I said I would never, ever, ever do network marketing ever again. And something just hit me that day sitting at my desk on my lunch break and was like, Kristy, for $34.95, you should give it a chance. If it doesn't work out, you probably waste more money a day in sodas than that. So do it already. So I did it. And I'll tell people, like, I did not have a very big, vision of what this could bring, because probably like most people that you think that only a select few people can get to the top. It's never going to be anybody and that it's just, you kind of work hard and you don't make very much money. So my big goal with Plexus was that if I could be making a month by the end of my first full year, like, I would feel like I hit the jackpot. That's how small, like, my mindset was, you guys. Like, that's small. Okay. So very quickly hit that goal and was like, Kristy, you better dream a little bigger, because I think that there is actually something to this gig. So I decided to jump all in, working a full-time job, and being, I worked a full-time job I'd been at for 10 years. I owned part of the company. I had an hour commute to and from work. And so I was super busy, but I fit Plexus literally into the nooks and crannies of my day and gave up TV because I knew that this is something that could change my life. So fast forward to my year mark with Plexus, I hit in the rank of Emerald. So I way surpassed that $500 a month mark, $1,000, and got me a car, earned my first, free trip to Hawaii, and was still working that full-time job. A couple months later, so January 18, I hit Sapphire. And all the way up until this, like I had always told my sponsor, I had a very good job. My husband and me also owned Sonic Drive-Ins. And so for us, it wasn't like we needed the business opportunity, but we just saw a business opportunity and we're like, why would you not make extra money if you can? And so for us, at the time, when I started all the way up until, January 15th, 2015, was Plexus for us was retirement money, pay off our house we had just bought, money, maybe buy a vacation home, fun money. And I had always told my sponsor, I want a passion wine. Like, you see all these stories that give you chill bumps and make you be like, wow, like, that is awesome. And I had always told her I wanted that. And little did I know I would get what I wanted. And so 3 days after I hit the rank of Sapphire, my husband was in a really bad car accident, and our world literally stopped. I remember calling my boss, working my full-time job, calling my boss the day of his accident, and I had just told him everything that was wrong with my husband. And his response to me was, well, I figure a day or two max, and you're going to need to be back at the office. And I couldn't even respond, because I'm like, I've given 75% of my time to you for the last 10 years. I just told you that literally fighting for his life, like should not be alive right now. And you're telling me I need to be back in 2 days. And so I did not respond because I was like, I don't know.
Can you hear her, Kara?
No.
That being 47 days. And
Back up just a little bit. You froze up on us.
oh, where did it stop?
Right after your boss said you had 2 days and you didn't know how to respond.
Okay. And so because I had plexus, I felt like, okay, Christy, you cannot go back to work. You can stay at this hospital the whole time with your husband, and you can be by his side and be there for everything that you need to be for, and just be there for yourself, who is literally an emotional basket case and going through this tragic event just like my husband was. And so I actually tried to quit my job several times in the hospital. But they would never come see me, and they over the phone would say, just wait, you just don't really know what you're processing right now. And so we got out of the hospital in mid-March. I did go back to work for a couple of days in April, and I had never realized it before his accident, but then when I went back, all this anxiety came back on me. I was crying every night before I had to go to work. And so I started back thinking, every Sunday night last year, I would start crying and just get anxiety because I knew what my work week was going to be like. I knew the stress that I was going to have. And I did love my job, but I had grown to hate it because of my boss. And so I just came home and I wrote up my letter, and I, went to them on, I think, April 21st of last year. Officially resigned from my job of 10 years, sold my part that I had owned of that company back to the company. And 7 days later, I hit the rank of diamond. So 17 months into the company, pretty much working a full-time job and being in the hospital for almost 2 months, I hit diamond. And so I always, say that to say that, I didn't have a lot of time to work this. I didn't have 8 hours a day to dedicate to plexus. I had 2 or 3 hours mixed in without the day, maybe 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, but I did it. And, I'm from a super small town, 282 people where I live, where I grew up, where my husband's from. So it's not like we had, these huge cities to just go out and find all these people in. And so, I always like to tell people I'm an introvert. I'm from a super small town. And I still did this. And so I like to say that I'm a perfect example that Paul can do this, then anybody can. It just takes belief. It takes, a lot of gall. It takes a lot of backbone, and it takes a lot of telling yourself that no matter what, you're going to do this because it's worth it, and that you've got your mindset on that you're going to hit these goals that you want. You're going to change your life, and you're going to change the lives of hundreds of thousands of people that you connect with, that connect with your team, and so on. And so with plexus, a lot of people say they didn't know why they joined. Like, I didn't really have a why when I joined. It was just, like I said, fun money to us. But when his accident happened, it all made full sense that I have my mind that in November of 2013, when I signed up with plexus and had no idea what it was, no idea at all, like, that I was signing up for, that God put plexus in our life because he knew what was going to come to us in 2015, and that was his way of taking care of us. And I don't know, were you guys at convention in Phoenix with Les Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His last session, and he gave a statistic and said something like everybody is just one accident. I can't remember what the percentage was, but it was pretty much getting at that every person is just one accident, losing their job, one layoff, one whatever, away from having to file bankruptcy. And Rebecca, my sponsor, was sitting beside me, and she nudged me, and I'm like, yeah, talk about if we hadn't had plexus, would we have made it? We would have, but we would have had to give up a lot of things. We would definitely be living a different lifestyle, and we would be in debt for forever, owing on millions and millions of dollars of medical bills. And so to us, Plexus has just been a complete godsend and a complete blessing. And I know that there are hundreds upon thousands of testimonies out there, just like ours, that where the business and the products, or maybe both, have changed people's lives. Girls are just the same. It's changing your lives every day.
I've never heard your story before. That's like, I have it. I'm like over here getting like goosebumps from it. I don't know. And I love it whenever, you know, like I'm just whenever you can see God working, and like, you know, that he blessed you with this and gave this to you and was preparing you. Like, I don't know, God has our back. He is good all the time. It's just
he is all the time. And so
I love that you said that you started from somebody cold messaging you, because I know we've been talking a lot about that. And I know a lot of people think that cold messaging isn't successful. So I wrote that down to say that when you were done talking, that you brought that up, because it's huge. Cold messaging works, and obviously it did for you. And I love your story. That was awesome. I almost teared up myself.
Well, so on the cold messaging, my sponsor, Rebecca Folks, I think she tells people all the time, and I can never remember, but 90% of her level ones that are business builders, they're from a cold message. Like, she cold messaged them. She said she has like maybe 2 or 3 people that messaged her, but everybody else, she like saw it out with the cold message.
That's awesome.
So it definitely.
We had her on our call actually too. She was amazing. I love her. She's awesome. That's so cool.
so it just works, being intentional about the people that you're going after, people that are business mindseted.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, and that's actually my very first tip, is to go for business builders. Okay? Because that makes business builders are usually going to be your people that have the big influence over people. People follow them, are already on social media. They're active on social media. People trust them. They've got big networks. And a lot of times they're going to be busy people, because busy people get that you just can't press join Plexus and it's going to happen for you.
Right.
Like, it does take a little bit of work. And so I think a lot of times people are scared to go after those business builders, because they're usually on their chicken list, because maybe they're, they know like how good they could be. But I say those are the first people you should go for, because I don't know if y'all have watched Whitney Ward's video about it's talking about going for business builders, and it's a video saying that if you only talk about the product all the time, then you're going to have a team of all wholesalers and people that are about the product. If you talk about the business, then that's the kind of team you're going to grow, is people that want the business. And so I know a lot of times people are scared to talk about the business, scared to go after those business builders, but it makes a huge difference in the momentum of your team, how fast you grow, how fast you want your team to grow. And so that's really been my biggest tip to all of my people, and especially after we were at the Diamond Trip and the Emerald Extravaganza, because in talking to people, that was kind of some of the things they said, is people now, like, you need to go for those business people, because those are people that get it and that see it. And that kind of falls along with cold messaging. Most of the time, those business builders, they're not going to be the ones to reach out to you. You've got to reach out to them. And I always tell my people, we're our own worst critics. Okay, whether it's how we look, what we're wearing, if we can do something, if we're good at something or not. And so when you reach out to those business builders, that there's a reason, something that popped into your head that made you think, okay, she would rock this. And that's what you have to tell those people. You don't need to vomit Plexus all over them and start giving them statistics. You need to say, you've seen me posting about this Plexus gig. You know that I'm crazy passionate about it, and I want you on my team. And this is why I know that you would do good at this. And then you tell them those 3 or 4 things. that automatically gets them to thinking, okay, well, Nikki, she's very successful with Plexus, and she thinks that I could be good. Where if you just start telling them that you want them on your team and giving them statistics, they're already telling themselves, well, she can do it, but I can't. Like that's not me. But if you change their mindset and you tell them why that they would be good, it kind of switches their brain.
So
and I mean,
sorry. So you just keep it like short and sweet, like that, like
short and sweet. Usually, you know, at closing it up, I'll just send them, you know, kind of say what it's done for me, and tell them, you know, if you want to talk some more, want to get on a phone call, let me know, and I'm going to be following back up with you in a couple of days. And usually, I have an email that I send this, and it kind of talks about how Plexus is different, and I list out the 11 different ways that we can get paid, and then I have at the very bottom like my health, you know, quick health testimony, and kind of like how I got started with Plexus, and like how I said I would never do it, and then I did it, and then I have my month by month financial testimony listed. So month 1, I made $150, all the way up until the month I went diamond, 25,000 or whatever it is. So they can see that timeline and be like, okay, this is like a steady increase, and it gets, they see the big picture. Because I know a lot of times, yes, people post about the comp, you know, the comp chart and telling people, well, this is how much you can make. But when it's somebody personally sending you that, it really is eye-opening. And I always tell my people, like, feel free to use that email and I can send it to y'all. And if you just want to put at the top, you know, hey, this is about the business, and, you know, put your stuff on there. At the bottom, you're going to see my friend Kristy's, you know, testimony, share her testimony, so you can see the actual, you know, big picture and opportunity that you can have with this company. Because a lot of times, you know, especially if you're first starting, you don't have a big business you know, testimony to tell people. And so there's always going to be someone's you can use, but that usually attention and lets them know. And I'm just, you know, I'm just honest with people. I'm not pushy. That's not my nature, but I'm just upfront and honest with them. And if, you know, I've had to show people used to, way back when I started, we had the hard checks. And if somebody needed to see a snapshot of my check, I would send them that, you know, obviously not strangers, but people that I reached out to enough to trust or whatever. So that kind of leads into, after we talked about going for business builders and, you know, cold messaging, don't wait to share. If you are on this call and you are new, and or maybe you've even been in it a couple months, and you're kind of one of those people is like, well, I really want a big testimony before I share. Don't do that. You are missing out on so many people. So I think that the best way to do it is make that coming out post and invite, you know, tell people, be honest, you know, I'm just trying this. I don't know anything about it except what I've been told. This is kind of what I've seen, because I have so many friends that it's changed their lives and they believe in these products. So I'm going to give it a try, and I would love for you to be on this journey with me. Invite people to be on the journey with you. Passion, and they see that excitement, they want to be a part of it. And so I have so many people on my team that they waited to share, and they might have even been sharing, but then they had people on their list that they wanted to reach out to, but they were scared to shared, or they finally reached out and that person had joined somebody else the week before because they didn't know that so and so was selling it. And so you will literally kick yourself in the behind if you wait till you have a big testimony. I tell people some of the smaller things are what are going to grab people's attention. So maybe you're sleeping good. Maybe you're a big workout person and you always have, you know, issues with sore muscles, and you start using the ease cream. Like, you never know what's going to resonate with people. And so the more personal you can be in your sharing, the more it's going to reach out and connect with your friends. Okay. Because yes, they want to know what it's doing for everybody else too, but they're following your Facebook page for a reason. And they want to know what you like and what it's doing for you. So don't wait to share. And the next one was make it personal and show your excitement. And so I was telling somebody earlier, I said, one of my girls, she made a huge personal post yesterday, and she's a senior Ruby. And, it was a real long post just talking about, hey, I know this is going to be a long post, but this is just on my heart, and telling all the different things it's changed, like how it's taken the financial strain off her marriage, how she's able to be the mom that she's always wanted to be to her kids, because she actually gets to go to their events now instead of having to be the teacher for somebody else's kids, and just all this stuff. And she wrote me last night and she said, girl, she said, I'm posting all the time. And she said, 5 messages today because I made that personal post. And so I'm like, exactly, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. If you make it personal, people they're gonna think it's more sincere.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to think it's something you copied and pasted, which those are totally fine too. But and like I said, they want to know about you. And my other big tip is to always, always, always be your friends list. Okay, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, any social media outlet. I only use Facebook because I really like social media, but I tend to get lost in it if I get on too many things. And so I've just told myself I can't get on Instagram because I don't need a distraction. Always be friending people. I think great ways to, friend people or look through the suggested people. And, one thing that I've done here recently is if you look in your news feed, it's going to be advertisements. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. So there might be one for a while back, and it was for it's called a Facebook year. It looks like a yearbook for Facebook, like an annual kind of. And I actually went to the comments because I was wanting to see if it was legit or not. And I was scrolling through the comments, reading people's stuff, and it hit me, Christy, there's 100,000 people that have commented on this post. You should go through some of these people and send them a friend request. Accept it, then they don't accept it, but if they do, good. And you guys, within 2 weeks of me doing that, I got a girl in Wisconsin to sign on my team and a girl in Georgia. I friended them. I started liking their stuff randomly, not all at once. And then they reached out to me about Plexus. So I know it sounds totally
That's
crazy,
awesome.
but where else are you gonna grow your friends list from? Because I had just kind of felt like at that point that I had exhausted my friends list, which I totally haven't, because I'm still signing people up that have been on my friends list for forever. But I just was looking for different ways to do that. Another way to grow your friends list is the different groups. And so if you have a hobby, maybe photography, or I know the A-Barts, all into film and different things. There really is a group out there for anything you can think of on Facebook. Just type it in. Maybe you're I don't do football. And I know one of my girls, she's a big Packers fan. And so she's in a Packers group, and she's gotten a ton of customers. She hasn't gotten any ambassadors from it, but she's gotten a ton of customers because what you do is you get in these groups. You don't put Facebook in these groups, but you start, you comment on the things in the groups. People start friending you from them, and then they're naturally going to start seeing your Plexus things. I know, Bart, that's how she found Eva Schmidt, and that's how Eva has built a ton of her business, is from getting in groups like that and friending people, and then them naturally seeing the things that she was talking about. So kind of think about things you're interested in. Maybe it's health and wellness coach, or maybe you're a dietitian or a nurse. There's groups for anything and everything for you to join, and they don't have to take up a lot of your time if you're just intentional when you're in there with your stuff. Always be adding to your Frank's list as well. And so I'm almost 3 years in. I've been a diamond for well over half of that, and I'm still adding to my friends list every day. I'm still cold messaging people. I'm still posting on Facebook. I still talk about it in public. And so, you know, that's something that you should never stop doing, whether you're silver or whether you've been a diamond for 2 or 3 years, is to always be growing your team, because you honestly you don't know when someone's going to decide they just don't want to do it anymore. And then you never know when that next person you sign up could be the person that sees it like you do and wants it like you do. And so it doesn't take 100 working the business for you to get there. I tell my people, if you can find anywhere from 1 to 5 people that really get it and they've got that big network and they decide that they want to work it, that's all it takes. Now, you eventually end up getting more people here and there, but when I went diamond, you guys, for level 1s, I had a sapphire level 1, and then I had a ton of golds and a lot of silvers, and I think I had 1 senior gold. That was it. I didn't have, it's not like I had sapphires and emeralds and rubies and all that. And even last year in Hawaii, I had 4 jewels with me, but they were all in 1 down line. And the next closest person in rank that I had to me was I had 1 ruby and the rest were senior golds. And so now they've all come along, and most of those people are either jewels or they're rubies or senior rubies now. But it takes time, but it doesn't take a ton of people. So I always tell people, like, quality people over quantity. Like, yes, you can sign up a bunch of wholesalers, but like going back to that first tip, like, really, if you can go after business builders, and especially people that want, like, they're self-starters, you don't have to hold their hand. You don't have to walk them through everything. Like, if you don't check in with them for a week, they're not gonna, fall off the face of the earth. And so I feel like that's also made a big difference in my business. Is I say I got lucky with it, but I actually intentionally sought those people out. Was I have a ton of level 1s that are like me, that they're self-starters, they're leaders naturally, and they're people that if I decided to quit tomorrow, they would still do this. And that's just how they are. So it makes a big difference than having to always, bring people back and all of that. Questions?
I don't think so, but I don't anyway. But those, I mean, that's just such a great reminder for me, like, because I let myself get intimidated sometimes about those people that I'm like, I want that person on my team, like, and just kind of I guess another boost of confidence is just going after them and constantly chasing after those business builders.
I have some people in mind, like right now, that I've been kind of nervous to ever message, and I think I'm going to do it tonight.
You should. And so one thing, like, I get super nervous about stuff like that. And I actually have a guy on my team that, and then he owns a couple of his own other businesses, and he actually wrote me, and he was going to do Plexus, and he had this big game plan of how he's going to fast start and all this stuff. Well, it didn't happen, and he's kind of dwindled out. But when I was writing people's names in the sand in Hawaii, I'm going to write his name down, because I still believe in him. And I know that if he actually did what he said he was going to do, he could do it. So then all my people messages that I had, and I got to his, and I was like, oh man, I'm so scared to write him. Even though he's already on my team, but he's not really working the business. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And so I started him. I said, hey, Morgan, it's Christy. I said, I know you haven't really, the Plexus business didn't take off like you wanted. And I know you've been busy with other things, but I wanted to let you know that I still think that you could do really well with this. I know that you could kill it. And I said, I even believe in you so much that out of everybody on my team, you're one of the names that I wrote down in Kona. And I sent him the picture, and I said, so just let me know if you're still interested. And he was like, you know what? I am still interested. He said, I got sidetracked and everything I wanted to do didn't work out. He was like, and I've been building this he owns like a window company, and he said that's taken a lot of my last 3 months up. He was like, if you want to help me, because I told him, I said, if you're still interested, I'll get a game plan and meet with you. And so we're going to meet next week. And so I was just like, well, who knows what would happen with him? Nothing, if I hadn't reached out to him. And so I was like, maybe I should do that more often. So sometimes you'll surprise yourself. And, I was telling a girl today, sometimes those people that you're so scared to write, like they might be just as scared to write you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that might be thinking, well, I wish I could do that like them, but I just can't. And so sometimes it just takes you breaking the ice to give them that confidence to do it.
I'm sure it helps people.
And I tell people all the time, a no is not going to kill you.
No.
Right.
I would be dead.
Now what?
I said I'd be dead if no's killed you.
Right. I do have a couple of questions, just from notes that I've been taking during the call. You said something about a Whitney Worry video. Is that what you said? Do you know what that video was called?
No, but I'll look it up and then I'll send you the link.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called, but it's so good. When we posted on our team page a couple months ago, and it was like a light bulb moment for so many people.
I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch that. I feel like I get like stuck in a rut where I'm like, okay, wholesale builders, and like, we get so many of those, but I totally see the big picture of like, going after those people that you think will build your business and will, put in that extra work and see the vision, rather than working with 100 people that, just signed up for wholesale.
Yeah, because it's going to take a ton of wholesalers to get you there. And I tell people, like, to get to diamond, like, you have to have a mix. You have to have wholesalers. You have to have the people that want to work it enough just to make, cover their products. And then you're going to have the people that work it. Now, whether there's a ton of people that work it or a ton of people that say they want to work it, and then you've got the dabblers, and then you've got the real workers in the same category. But you do have to have a good mix. A lot faster if you've got those business builders.
Yeah.
And it's less work on you. Like it probably will be less work. It might feel like more work at the beginning, but you're getting more return out of that.
Right.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
I love that. I will say, I do the comment thing too. Like when I see like crazy comments in there, or like somebody's talking about losing weight or something, like, and there's like a trillion comments, I always like just throw like a little line in there and friend request some people, and it really does work. And it really does work for sure. I know Jarrett was on our call this month actually, and he was talking about like getting in on like even like a knitting group if you like knitting. And so like I started getting in like all these mom groups, and like being a mom is just natural to me, and I love talking about like mom stuff. And so I'm like in all these like mom groups now, and like I love it, and people are like actually having conversation with me and stuff, and it works. It really does.
Yeah, I think if you can do that, I mean, it's Beth Anderson, maybe she was at the diamond or the groundbreaking. Me and her were talking, and she actually sent me a video that Jarrett had done for her, and she said, I was super surprised to see how much of their business they built like that. Like, it's super smart, like it's not like you're having to go out and find all these people. Like, you're just building relationships, and at the same time enjoy and talking about something that you enjoy doing, and have the same like hobbies as people. And so it really doesn't feel like scary work, if that makes sense.
Right, because you have like that common interest with them. Yeah, no matter what it is, even if it's Star Wars. That's kind of a bad example, but.
No, hey, there's a ton of Star Wars people. I've never seen one movie of that, but I know that there's a ton of people out there.
Right, yeah, there is.
It's crazy how much we actually can accomplish by being at home and just doing it on social media. Because I know a lot of times we think that we have to be out and about. And I'm like you, I live in like a super small town, and like everybody in my town like knows that I sell plexus and stuff like that. So it's it's hard for me to get out a lot too, because we like our closest big town is like an hour away from me. So just being able to use social media all the time for an avenue to build your business.
It's really funny you say about the Instagram thing, because I'm the same way. Like I have an Instagram, but every time I get on there, I get so overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. And so I stick to Facebook too. But I do hear about a lot of people like being successful on Instagram, but yeah, I need to figure it out.
Yes, I think, I mean, for me, Facebook was great. And if I would have had to, I'm an introvert. And so if I would have had to, like she was saying, it's great to be able to build your business on social media. If I would have had to gone and done parties or like talk to people face to face, I probably wouldn't have done it. Like, I feel like social media makes it so easy for people that are like me, that are introverts and maybe scared to talk to people, and you don't like public speaking, that it's to, you know, reach out to people, because you're putting yourself out there, but you're not having to do it with them right in your face. And so a lot of people, a lot of times when I tell them I'm an introvert, they're like, what? I would have never guessed that from Facebook. I'm like, I'm an extrovert on Facebook. Like, that's a different personality.
I can put my whole life on Facebook and not even be fazed by it.
Right.
I think being able to thank, like, sorry about my exes, it's a different thing we're doing, but being able to thank on Facebook whenever they reply to you, you're not like, oh my gosh.
Deer in the headlight. Yeah.
So true.
Well, thank you
are
so
y'all
much.
Excited?
Do what?
I was just going to ask if y'all were excited for Leaders Retreat.
I'm very excited.
I can't wait. We were like looking at pictures from last year earlier, and I was just like, that just like gets me pumped up. I'm like, cannot wait.
I'm super excited. I think my best thing that I'm like super excited about is to see everybody and like really relax.
Yes,
I'm really excited to just relax and just, you know, see everybody, and just being in the Plexus atmosphere is always so inspiring.
And there's so much downtime this year that'll actually give people time to like connect with, like, you're not having to run from event to event. You can actually like hang out with people and get to know people, teammates that maybe you've never met as well. So I'm really excited about it.
I love.
What city are y'all in? Or what state?
I'm in Bloomfield, Missouri.
And I'm in Springfield, Ohio. We're power partners from other states.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we love it.
We didn't even know each other before Plexus at all. And like, we have literally became like best friends. Like, God put us in each other's life.
I love that though. Like, that's awesome. I feel like there's so many people that I'm friends with now that I would have never met without Plexus. And so I think it's great because it brings back, it rekindles like old friendships, and then it brings all these new ones in too. So, which is, I feel like the older you get, maybe your friend group gets smaller normally, because, you know, I don't have kids, but my sisters have kids, so I know how busy you are with kids. And so your life just kind of starts revolving around them. And so I always tell people, I feel like Plexus is like a grown-up sorority. Like, it brings the fun back.
Mm-hmm.
You get to go to activities, and you get to have adult time, and you get to make new friends. So
I never, like, growing up, like, I mean, I just like always thought like it would be fun to travel and stuff like that, but I never envisioned myself like having like a career where I'm like sent to all of these different places all the time, that I'm like looking forward to going and have tons of fun. And like, I don't know, like my husband and I were talking about that the other day, like thinking back to high school, to what I wanted to be whenever I grew up, like Plexus ambassador never came across.
But it's like the best thing ever.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I don't know. It's just, you know, God's plans are always better, because it was just kind of brought into my lap too. And it's just amazing how all of it's worked out, and how much I love my life because of this.
Yes.
Me and Kara I have a almost 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. She just turned 4, and Kara has 2 kids the same age. And like, so we're both stay-at-home moms with little babies running around, and just so blessed to be able, I mean, we do Zoom calls with our kids in the background. So like, we love it.
Mhm.
That's
really,
awesome.
really blessed.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for jumping on here with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And
You're
I mean, I
welcome.
love the tips that you gave us. I mean, I feel totally refreshed to like go reach out to these people.
I do
Oh, yeah.
too. I do too. I really feel like that. I feel like this is like one of our best calls we've had in a while. So thank you so much. I got
Oh,
notes here.
good.
Notes of stuff to take away. So thank you so much for jumping on the call. We know everybody's busy, so we really appreciate it when everybody jumps on to share their story and tips with us.
Well, y'all are so welcome.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you
Well, I will see
guys.
y'all
Have a good
later.
night.
Good night. y'all.
Bye.
Bye.